For those of you who don't know who I am, Darren Clifford. I was the founder of Taylor Pass. Started off as a beekeeper, and today I've been given a title of Executive Director. I'm not sure what that really means, but Taylor Pass, I guess in a nutshell, who are we as a company? Today we're still on a number of landowners around both Marlborough, Central Otago, South Westland. We run 12,000 odd hives, 56 full-time staff with a number of casuals, and we are South Island's biggest vertically integrated honey producer. So we're not the biggest by volume, by tonnes, but by production from hive right through. We sit in a number of markets. This was a quick breakdown I grabbed from our sales team of where our split is in today. I thought I'd start off my presentation by telling a small story. I guess you don't know what you don't know, and this photo means very little to all of you, but to me when I started out beekeeping, I was told that lots of bees flying around meant you could get lots of honey, and so I took this photo and thought it was great. We're going to have lots of honey, but there's actually a phenomenon in beekeeping that's called robbing, which means everyone else's bees or hive bees from your own hives are trying to steal your honey, and that's what was going on here. So I was proudly taking a photo thinking I was about to get a large crop of honey, but in fact I was feeding the neighbours and causing great disruption to my own hives. So you don't know what you don't know, and it's probably been something for us as we've worked our way through from starting out in a very small scale to where we are today, as we've had to do a huge amount of work to try and learn what we don't know. So a little bit of a snapshot looking back, 98, 99 through to 2008, most of the concentration around our business was spent on growing hive numbers, putting staff in place, and the bulk of our honey was sold in drums on the back of that ship heading to the UK. So our model was pretty simple: have as many hives as possible, run them as well as possible, put it all in a drum and send it off to someone to worry about the rest of the world. 2008 to 2009, we were lucky enough to be a recipient of a number of awards through the Marlborough Chamber of Commerce, and I think that process was probably what I would say a light bulb moment for us and for me. It gave us a chance to look at our business, it gave us a chance to take criticism, to take ideas, and to look at who was around us that we could work with and who could we learn from. And some of the strong points that came through for there was it helped us build the vision and markets of future brands. It formalised our business policy and processes, helped us build a stronger staffing structure to grow. Most importantly, the process in 2008 to 2009 was a very humbling one from the point of view. It told us that we were far too exposed to one market, and ironically all of this was happening right at the time of GFC. So it was very, very timely. So from 2009 through, we spent and invested quite heavily in market research, which pointed towards Asia and UAE as potential markets for honey. So we rolled out that process with China, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong and UAE as being potentials. So key steps for us was Food Hotel China, which is one of the largest food expos up there. Attending those pathway packages, we used companies to do surveys and assisted shops, and so we'd go out and we'd employ someone to pick 100 customers in the supermarket in Qingdao or somewhere and try and grill them for why they bought our products or why they bought someone else's and what was the brand and what did it mean to them, and we tried to use that as a base to put some research back and to try and validate what we were doing. So rather than sitting back waiting for a trade show where they would come to us, we went round and we looked for who was stocking products that might have been similar to ours, something in the same categories or certainly the same premium range, and we used that as a chance to go knock on their door and say, hey, would you be prepared to stock our products? And that did work for us. What were the challenges for us up there? Protection of IP has been massive for us. It's been a real challenge. We've had bastardisation of brand, we've had copycat honeys, we've had all sorts in that market, so it's been an incredibly tough one for us. Consistent distribution across Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities. We looked at master distribution versus more of a prominence-based. Infiltration of product coming up out of Hong Kong was a challenge for us, and through the grey markets, grey channels. That was once again challenging when you get a distributor ringing you saying, how come such and such can stock my product, the same one, and it's turning out from the other end of Chinese. Well, how did it get there? Well, it was making its way there in all different methods, but they weren't ones from us. We went and used more of a B2C style market there, so kiosks standing into malls, and that's worked well, but it has meant we've had to put a lot of effort into training staff. So you can see the little photo at the bottom was a group, I think 18 staff that we trained, and those girls are working on our stands daily up there. Has been a much better model and has given us a chance to tell a story and a point of difference. Less of an understanding of high value honey. So the Manuka story wasn't, it was known, but they couldn't really tell what they were buying. So it was a challenge for us, especially when we're not involved in high-end active too much. Constant heat in the markets led to shelf stability issues. Truth in labelling was a challenge. We've seen Manuka honey come from Dubai and also out of Argentina, I think it was, both been making their way in the Singapore market, which, as you can imagine, is definitely a fake product. Consumers in that market were not overly brand loyal. So what we see is the minute someone runs a special in that market, we see a gravitation to that. As soon as that special is gone, they gravitate to something else. So all of the shopping is done through a very quick look on social media or on websites to say, well, okay, where's the best deal? Where can you get the jar of honey cheaper? And that's how they shop. I tried to pick, a few things on each of these that were slightly different. I guess Japan was, we went through the same model of starting out in Foodex, identified a distributor, and we wined and dined and signed them on, and it seemed like probably the match made in heaven, but we fast learned that he was into selling pails of honey, we were into selling containers, and that was a bit of a challenge. His model was little railway station stops. He wanted to buy honey in pails eventually and put it all into 50-gram jars, which didn't really work for our brand. So today we've got an extremely robust and a really good market in Japan. The challenges that we've probably encountered along the way up there, customers are incredibly brand loyal, and this creates challenges when you want to rebrand. So even the smallest change of font on a jar seems to create 100 emails back and forwards as to why would you change your font, and what are you actually doing? Are you putting something else in the jar that's not honey? So, Hong Kong, we entered that market working through an agent, New Zealand-based agent. That didn't work. So once again, it was a model we thought was going to work for us. We partnered up with a New Zealand company based out of Christchurch who told us they could do that we couldn't. And very quickly we learned up for 16, 18 months that they wasn't going to work in that market. Challenges in that market. It's cluttered with brands. Its product makes its way into mainland China. Easy accessible by competitors, so all of our competitors track through their way up into the UK, Europe market. Brand differentiation is difficult. Consumers lack in-depth knowledge of honey. Summary, colour pass, we're established in most of those markets. I'll put on that graph at the moment, while some of those, like to the Philippines and that, are small, are still growing for us. One of the key things I'll take away from our experience, consider product stability, brand awareness, positioning, consumer knowledge. IP is gold. It'll cost you to get it, it'll cost you to lose it, it'll cost you in between, and we learned incredibly tough lessons out of that. We found our brand in the northern end of China, I think in 7 different iterations, attached to everything from ice cream to fruit. So, and trying to get it back, I think last time I looked, we'd spent the thick end of 60 to 80,000 US trying to protect a brand that we were on a hiding to nothing. And so our sweet nature brand in that northern end, we're not going to worry about. We just can't do anything with it. It's just become incredibly tough. So, picking a partner is more important than choosing a spouse. I think it's very similar. It's no use getting out there thinking you're going to be able to deliver everything to someone if you're not the right mix, if you don't like each other, or you can't work together, or you don't share the same vision for your product. That's it.
That's the honey story.